Hello everybody and welcome back to the Ōkami walkthrough. So, we have freed Kusa Village from the curse of the Crimson Helm. And, yes, Princess Fuse is incredibly happy, as indeed she should be. And now we find out a little bit about Yatsu. Because Yatsu was Princess Fuse's husband, and then he died. Because of the Crimson Helm. And so he finally passes now that his job is done. Now, a rather fun little fact that I shall bring up now because we're talking to Princess Fuse and it makes sense. But most of the locations and characters of Ōkami have a little built-in touch of humour. You probably should have realised this at this point. If you haven't, then I'm sorry, but you've not been paying attention. In the case of Princess Fuse's house, they had designed her home to look like a doghouse, since she kept so many dogs. In the early stages of development, Princess Fuse didn't have a very large role. But once she was promoted to a more prominent role, where she governed an entire village, they upgraded her home accordingly. So it's nice to know that they paid attention to stuff like that. And I believe that that is all I will discuss for the time being. We've not got any hugely important pieces of art yet. Although, I am still in love with this art book. It's easily one of my favourites. But then again, that's because Ōkami is easily one of my favourite games of all time, so, totally not biased there at all. It's the same with, like, the Bayonetta art book. I am in love with that thing. And I would also be incredibly in love with a wonderful 101 art book, and so on and so forth. And hopefully eventually we'll get a scale-bound art book as well, because that would be amazing. Now, if you're wondering what I'm doing at the minute, I am just comparing my creature totals in the animal tome to where I technically should be as according to my guide, because if there's one thing that I will definitely praise it on, it was very good on this front. Because obviously it's very easy to miss some of the animals, especially like the rats, because they are in the dungeon, you may not even spot them. But the dog that I was missing was this fella. Because I was an idiot and didn't feed him when we first met him. If you want to avoid the issue, feed them when you first meet them. For the love of God. Don't be an idiot like I was, because otherwise you're going to have to do some backtracking that you really shouldn't have to do anyway. Yes, Issun, that really probably was that monster. Thank you for having such faith in us, Issun. Also, I like that he keeps saying, that village, that monster, like we don't already know exactly what is happening. But it is indeed nearly time for the Kamiki Village Festival to take place. And pretty much, that's where we're going to be heading throughout this part. The reason that we're not heading there immediately is because now that we have Galestorm, there is a bunch of really awesome things that we can do. Basically, there are more treasures to unlock. Well, pretty sure that there are some stray beads about that have now become available to us. So that is exactly what we are going to go and collect. Because, as I said, what I am aiming to do is pick up all of these things as and when they become available to us, not necessarily when it's most convenient to pick them up. In most instances, we are going in that path anyway, so I might as well. But it's not necessarily always going to be the case, and I may end up going slightly out of my way to pick things up. And I believe that means that we only have one sun fragment left, so that's helpful. So I think we're going to have to do a little bit of work to get this fountain going again, really, aren't we? And there we go, the flower girl is now incredibly happy. And gives us even more praise. Like, really, she gives us so much praise, it's insane. I mean, it's obviously not a ridiculous amount in the grand scheme of things, but it's still quite a lot from one character. Especially at this point in the game. Because it's pretty sure she gives you, like, 3-4 batches of praise, so, like, good grief. Now, seeing as we are kind of continuing on our journey, it's worth just picking up some more feed bags and also selling everything off. Also, you can sell off all your fish. Technically, if you want a better price, you're probably better off leaving selling your fish until you get to... it's around... the start? Well, near the end of the first third of the second third of the game. This is a really convoluted way of trying to describe Ōkami, but it's probably the most accurate way I'm going to get through it. Because... it's pretty easy to segment Ōkami into its constituent chunks. So you've got the first third, the second third, the third third, but then there are obviously breaks in the middle of those. So as you've seen with this first third, we had the first third of this third, which was up to the Spider Queen, then we've had up to the Crimson Helm, and then we've got the final third of this third. Oh, I'm saying thirds too many times. I apologise. But now that we have Galestorm, we can get the stray beads that was just there. And also, I mean, we really did need to come up here anyway. Because you may recall, around the world there are these piles of leaves. If you use Galestorm on them, you blow them away, and you can get the treasure that lies beneath. So this is the power that we've been waiting for all this time to get rid of those damn things. And thankfully, seeing as we're heading back towards Kamiki anyway, we're going to be able to get all of those piles of leaves on the way back. So this probably explains to you why the title of this part is like the power of Kazegami or whatever it is. Because we're going to be using the wind a hell of a lot. We're basically like a Knight of the Wind, you know? Incredibly unsubtle Sonic reference there. Although really I should probably not be mentioning Sonic, because that hedgehog has been in a little bit of a funk lately. Well, not a little bit of a funk, a major funk. Oh well. And oh, I remember what's about to happen. Oh. At least I think it's going to happen now. Or soon enough. So after you have beaten the Crimson Helm, you can go back to Moley and the Molsters. And they have another challenge for you. That is my reaction to the Molsters. They suck. So much. Although I'm assuming we're going to be getting them more so on the way back. Maybe? I don't know anymore. We may have already done that bit with the Molsters being ridiculous. But obviously, there's a lot of stuff to do with Kazegami in Taka Pass. I mean, obviously all these mounds of leaves. You also have those bits of fabric that I should know the name of, but I actually cannot. Oops. But more importantly, there is a mini-game that we are going to be doing. Now, you've seen this guy waiting around for a while, but we've not been able to do anything about it until now. But Bingo here is a treasure hunter, and he believes that there is a treasure here. How do you get rid of the mound of leaves in front of him? Gale Storm! Which means that you can actually begin the dig. And you should probably realise what minigame we're going to be coming across right now. Because we've already done it once, and that was with Mr. Bamboo. Basically, you need to dig deep down to the bottom and wait until Bingo points you in the right direction. And then you dig up the treasure. No, I believe that completing this gets you a sun fragment. I may be slightly wrong on that front, but I think it is. Now, oh my good god! This is not an easy dig. Because basically you need to work your way as far to the right as possible. And you need to do so without dropping down to the bottom. Because the dig spot is right at the end of this pathway. And oh my good god. But yeah, I found this one to be quite the challenge. It's mostly because I kept kind of digging too far to the bottom too quickly. And obviously using your brush techniques a lot means that you are going to be potentially wasting a lot of time and, well, a lot of ink pots, which means that you've then got to wait longer. Which is just like, ah! Also, I did a massive, massive, massive risk here. Like, what you're, I think, technically supposed to do is water spout him up to the level above, and then dig down. But nope, I decided, yeah, I'm going to use the Gale Storm, and that's a smart move. No, it isn't. Still, thankfully, I managed to complete this, because, yeah, the dig spot is right here, Now come on dude, hurry up, I want to dig. And there we go, we got the treasure. I will say that did take me a couple of tries when recording. What's really cool is that some people have, like, made a map for you to follow. Not necessarily showing you the direction you need to take, but it points out exactly where the treasure is, so you know, sort of, you can pre-plan your route. Which, in those types of minigames, when you're under a time limit, that's incredibly helpful. And it really, really, really is. And, oh yes, I was right, it was a sun fragment. Oh yes. Now, still can't do anything about that, which is really, really annoying. But when we get to the second, third of the game, stuff like that will become available to us, thank God. And now it's time for me to be a bit of an idiot. It's not being a complete idiot, but, it's me failing in my platforming abilities. Because, yeah, right to the bottom. I'm really, really not a fan of this particular treasure chest. Because the things are spaced quite far apart, so you've got to do some careful jumping here. And as you can see, I kind of did fail at least one more time. 'Twas not pretty. But, and all we get for it was a stinking golden peach that I'm never gonna bloomin' use. It's like, ah! Because yeah, obviously I am ever so slightly too good at this game to ever need to actually use the astral pouches, because, you know, I'm not gonna die. That said, I'm not amazing at Ōkami. You can probably tell by the fact that I'm not getting straight full cherry blossoms on all my fights. But I'm competent enough not to die. I mean, Ōkami is not exactly a difficult game in that respect, so not really much to brag about. But oh well. Now, frustrating thing, obviously, as you can see, is that once you have done one of the mounds of leaves, it will come back. So if you don't know that you've done that chest, yeah, you're in for a bit of a surprise. And obviously, seeing as we are leaving Taka Pass right now, I must have already done the thing with the monsters. And all you get for it is a stinking vase. God damn it. I think pretty much if you try and do stuff with them every time after that, you will always have that faster pace. Which is just hell. If not, I may be doing it when we head back through Taka Pass after finishing the first third of the game. It's been a long, long, long time since I've recorded this footage now, so the memory of my exact path is, as I've said many times before, slightly hazy. But what I do know that we're going to do is we are going to be doing a little bit of fishing. Because if you return to Agata Forest after, well, basically doing the fight with Ume, probably it's better to do it after you've taken down the Crimson Helm, because then you've done the story bit and you can kind of chill for a little while. But you get the option to do fishing! Now, obviously this was a bit of the story that you had to do, but you now have the option to do fishing. And I mean, it's quite fun. It's quite relaxing, apart from when it's really, really not. Because, like, the smaller fish are really, really, really easy to get in. May take you a little while, because they may be a bit stubborn. But you have such a kind of big space in which to kind of draw them in. You can push quite hard. I have no idea why this one's being as stubborn as it is, but oh well. Now, as there is an animal tome, there is also a fish tome, so there are a lot of different fish types to catch. Now, the way that this works is that the longer you spend fishing, the more big fish that you're going to come across. These big fish are actually quite a challenge to catch, because you have to work within this very small kind of line to draw them in, and they turn a hell of a lot. And not only that, but you're going to have to slash them 2, maybe even 3 times to catch them. So, yeah, it can be rough, and if you want to catch all the fishes, or fish, or whatever, you're going to be here a while. Because certain fish only come out in the day, certain ones only come out in the night. So, get a guide up immediately, make a checklist, and tackle it like that if you want to complete your fish tome. It really is not important to, because it does nothing other than just be like, yo, I caught every fish in the game! Bragging rights, hell yes! I mean, I would recommend doing a bit of fishing every now and again, because it's more free money. You don't even need to, you know, worry about paying for, like, feedbacks to try and catch the fish. You just need to go into the minigame and just spend your time. So, depends whether you're up to it or not. Thankfully, you're not going to be seeing me catching every single fish in the game, as I have definitely stated before. Because that would just be a colossal waste of your time, because I'm pretty sure it took me at least an hour of, like, specifically fishing. That's not including all of the fishing that I just naturally do across the game. Because you have this instance, there is another plot-specific instance where you have to fish. There is then another instance where you have the option of fishing to catch, well, to get something, but it's a brush technique, so give or take. But yeah, I believe after this fish I am most definitely giving up, because yeah, I just was not going with this for much longer. I was just like, nope, I'm done. Just want to move on now. Thankfully, this salmon was much more kind to me than the Hoochin was. And this is a salmon, not a giant salmon, even though they do look identical. But there we go, that's the fishing done for now. And there's very little left for us to do. We've just got, I believe, a few leaf mounds. And then it's time to head back into Shinshu Field. And the night of the festival is gonna take place. So we are really close to wrapping up the first third of Ōkami. Like, as a fact, we will be done in part 24, I think. That's how close we are. Now, I believe that there is a thing of leaves somewhere, or not. Okay, I must be imagining something. So I think we just need to head into Shinshu Field. Oh, there's a... that's what I was looking for. I know it was somewhere. But now, it's back to Shinshu Field. Why do I get a really foreboding feeling about what's about to happen? Oh yes, that would be why I get a really foreboding feeling. The darkness is really going strong at the minute. So, we've just got to hope that things go okay. But the night of the festival is upon us. We are just going to get... well, sort out this pile of burning leaves right now. There is one more which is outside Tama's place. Or at least... there's one that I know that I forgot in my immediate return to Shinshu Field, which is outside of Tama's place. Which we won't be getting until after the plot is finished for the day. Because we're just going to save, or at least have a save, and head straight to Kamiki Village. It's been 100 years since Orochi was slain. Things are going to be serious.